Welcome to Collaboration Conversations. I'm your host, Regina Bergman, CEO of Bridgeport Strategy. Once again, I am delighted to have a guest co-host today and amazing panelists that she has brought with her. So let me just tell you briefly about my co-host, and then I want her to tell us more about herself. So Sissel, first of all, welcome as co-host today, Sissel Anderson. How are you today, Sissel?
Thank you very much, Regina. I'm so well, and I'm so grateful for being here today with you and these three amazing women that I have invited to come with us.
Awesome. Sissel, you are a network marketing professional, inspiring and coaching others to build a sustainable global business, right?
Correct? Yes, I am.
Awesome. So, would you please share with our audience more about your journey, how you got to where you are now, and who you serve and why that's important to you?
Yes, I would love to do that. So I started this journey with network marketing in 1987, and I've been in and out of this business for many years. I've also built traditional businesses where I had to invest a lot of time and money to get anything in return. But the journey I'm in right now is something that started in 2015, and I'm so happy to be here. I have never looked back, I'm only looking forward. So I'm serving people around the globe and helping them become financially and physically in balance. And it's absolutely an amazing job to have. And I help people establish successful online businesses with a company that has a patented cellular health technology, helping people thrive and stay as young and healthy as long as possible.
Excellent. I love that. That's awesome. And certainly a great need for it. And I love that that aspect of the financial and the physical imbalance. I'm excited to hear more about that perhaps as we go through this. So Sissel, would you please introduce each of our panelists today and have them share about their journey, who they serve, and why?
Yes, I will. So each of these three ladies is they are dedicating empowering others to live their lives to the fullest while creating the best life for themselves as well. And I would like to start with Arlette. So Arlette, I met serendipitously. Sorry for my Norwegian English here, but I met her at the pool in Phuket in Thailand. And I think this was a meeting that was destined to happen. She's a top world athlete in her class, and she's also a physical therapist. Originally, she's from Switzerland, but she resides in sunny Santa Barbara. And Arlette embodies excellence both in profession and personally. And she is really dedicated to helping people age up well. So, do you want me to continue with the other two as well, and then they
Now
can
let's
dive?
do them one at a time. Yeah,
Sure.
let's do
Okay.
them just one at a time. Sounds great.
So, Arlette, would you like to dive a little bit deeper into this?
Well, I'm not really sure I can top that. I'm really quite outspoken and I speak quite easily, but I'm not really good at, touting myself. So thank you, Cecil, for that. I am a physical therapist. I have 35 years of experience. I am board certified in orthopedics and geriatrics. I am an athlete. I'm a lifelong athlete. I was a Division I swimmer in the United States. I was a national team member on the Swiss team, and I still compete internationally at a world level as a masters athlete. So I'm currently in Indianapolis for Olympic trials and this weekend for our national championships. I competed in the World Aquatics Championships in Qatar in February of this year, and I did win 2 gold and 2 silver. So that was quite exciting. I started being really interested in more of the geriatric population, not because I wanted to fix them, but because I want to empower people that are in their late 40s and 50s to actually enter their next decades and their last half or last third of life healthier and with more energy and more enthusiasm. and more health. And so I founded my company, Age Up Well, in 2018. And I am really excited to bring that platform of healthy aging and healthy longevity, not just birthdays because you can have them, but healthy birthdays and optimal life well into your later decades of life.
Love that. Okay, Sissel.
Yeah. So do you want me to continue with
Yes.
Bonnie then? Yeah.
Yes.
So Bonnie is originally invited to this meeting by Arlette. And Bonnie, I know she's the founder of the All Smile Swim and the Tributary podcast. She also serves as the USMS head coach of the Pan Am Games in Trinidad and Tobago for the 2024 Aquatic Championship. So you see there is a lot of water going on here. And Bonnie also contributes to sports and wellness in a remarkable way. So Bonnie, would you like to maybe elaborate a little bit more on what you do and who you serve?
Sure. So very similarly to Arlette's swimming background, I also was a Division I swimmer, scholarship athlete to the University of Arkansas. My husband and I actually met in the pool. But Arlette and I met at a swimming conference this past fall, last October. And I love to hear that it was very serendipitous for the two of you. I feel very similarly in how Arlette and my friendship has blossomed from that time. I have taught swimming since I was just 15 and have pretty much done it ever since. This morning, I've already coached 4 different age group practices and had 1 private swim lesson. Have another 4 or 5 private swim lessons this afternoon as well. I really like to dive in and kind of be a bit of a detective on stroke technique and that sort of thing. So that's really a lot of fun for me. And then I am recently a kid launcher is what I like to say, AKA empty nester. And so I have found a little bit of free time and I have managed to fill that to the max. And so I have, as you mentioned, I'm the founder of the Oz Mile Swim, which is an open water event that takes place in Northwest Arkansas the last full weekend of September. And it's a 1-mile swim, but we set it up in waves, allowing our swimmers to participate in multiple waves. So they have the opportunity to swim several different times, which is a little unique. And then I'm also the founder of our local masters team, which is Swim Oz. And we're a little special in that way as well, in that we do not have a home pool. We actually practice out at the lake for approximately 6 months and really, really dive into, pun intended, open water swimming. So I work with a lot of triathletes, a lot of former Division I swimmers such as myself and Arlette, and then also really trying to kind of encourage age group swimmers as well as families. So like this last weekend or last Wednesday, we had a father who's a triathlete brought his 2 young daughters who are budding triathletes as well and participate in the practice swim. So it's a lot of fun to build that swimming community, and that's really what I'm most passionate about, is to build that community. And most recently have started the podcast, the Tributary podcast, and basically we talk about anything and everything water related. So heavy on the swimming side because that's clearly a passion of mine, but also really all things water related. Our most recent episode that we'll be launching this week is with a young man who did a float on the western boundary of the Ozark Mountains called the Spring River. He did a 60-mile, 6-day float and is very into what is called historical floats. So you can learn all about his journey and adventure on our next episode.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah.
And then last not least, Rosalie. So Rosalie is a registered nurse from the UK. And Rosalie is really, really devoted to educating others about the amazing capacity our bodies have. Her mission is to help people understand and listen to the signs in their bodies. And Rosalie, I need you to elaborate on this because you have a very, very special way of doing this.
Oh, hi everyone. So all I can do to join in the water theme is to say I do love open water swimming, but I don't live very close to the open water, but it's so good for us. So yes, I'm a former nurse. I now am working more full-time in what I'm doing now, but what I love to do is help other people sort of experience what I have, and that is to just learn all over again about a new way of how to take care of ourselves, to enrich our health and bring back the balance in our lives and that of our children growing up now. I'm particularly interested in helping people in the autumn of their lives because they seem to have all the issues and they have no idea that there's something that, you know, can change that, and it's really quite simple. So trying to use my renewed education into educating as many people as possible. So I've been working with these redox signaling molecules that we're going to talk about as we go along for 2.5 years now, and thankfully I'm able to say that from a former traumatic brain injury over 30 years ago, which, you know, I'm quite okay about. I broke my jaw, got pins and plates in my face for life, but I had a brain map out of interest and discovered that it had come with me a lot of issues that at nearly 60 years of age I didn't realize were there because I had no symptoms. So these molecules, these redox molecules we're talking about, have been the real contributing factor to my renewed neurological health. And today at 63, I am looking forward in a way where I was absolutely going backwards without any prior knowledge. And I really enjoy, whether it's babies, you know, toddlers, children, adults, or very, you know, older people, just helping them to realize that age is no barrier for good health, and you can self-help your body to become the best version of you yet. And so I look forward to, you know, many more occasions where little astonishing things happen in front of my eyes, and then we just share and pass it forward and pay on the good news in any way we can. So being on here is just a delight, because it's time that people recognized and realized that there are very simple ways to take care of your own health without a lot of outside intervention, and of course, most importantly, naturally. So I'm all about less toxins and more natural therapies. So that's where I focus.
And I think this is also what ties us together. Even
Yes,
if we
please.
are not doing exactly the same, but we all share a passion of helping others achieve their fullest potential, whether
Yes.
it's in swimming or whatever it is. So everyone aspires to live long, strong, and young, and they just need a little guidance to discover how they can do that. So yeah.
Excellent. So let's dive in from that point. That's a great starting point. Kind of what I was looking at, Sissel. Perfect. How has collaboration, or how can collaboration impact our ability to live strong, young, and long, as you just said, Sissel? How can we collaborate with others, or how are you collaborating with others to achieve that, or to help people with that? And everybody feel free to engage in the conversation, okay?
Well, I'll speak up on that. You know,
Please.
you're talking to an athlete here, and a team is always stronger than an individual. And even if you're in an individual sport, you still need a team behind you. And I've always been of the opinion that collaboration is the way to go. You know, we don't know everything. We are not good at everything. We need to surround ourselves with people that are good at the things that maybe we're not so good at, and build more of a collaborative effort in that, and recognize and celebrate that in each other. And I think as women, we have a long ways to go in that. I think traditionally women are not very good at that, unless they've been taught that by a very powerful mom or with a bunch of sisters around. But that is not something that is being taught in society, or at least not when we were all growing up. It's changing a little bit. But I think that it was always, I was always the one in college even telling people they looked good, or being brutally honest, you know what, that skirt does not look good on you, or those pants make your butt look big, you don't want to wear those. And that is being a good friend, right? You want your friends to look great, you want them to do great, you want them to be successful, and you want to celebrate that. And when you do that, you surround yourself with people that go, wow, this is really cool. This is really somebody who's supporting me without an agenda. And that is really how you build a very powerful foundation. And, at age 60, I am surrounded by incredible women because I have collaborated my entire life.
That is amazing, Arlette. Thank you. Who
I
else?
think I could add to that
Yes,
we
please.
don't each individually have all the strengths and the time, or maybe even if we have them, to actually put them into action. So I find to collaborate and promote someone else in that area, so say like Arlette with exercise and things like that, it's not my first thing, but if we can join hands like that and just share. Some people are great with nutrition, some people just pretty good all round, but most of us specialize a little bit. So collaborating just shows strength in you to be able to recommend people to others. And we do that all around the world. And I love to find out different cultures' ways of taking care of their health. Great.
Excellent.
And also, I think collaboration also helps us learn more. So, I mean, as long as we learn, I think we are thriving. And even if we are getting older, we need to learn more things. Something new every day is just great. And like you said, Bonnie, you are into all the strokes and trying to finalize and optimize the strokes. I guess that's something you need to look at on other people from the outside. They don't maybe see that themselves, but so it's all about talking together and empowering each other. And we all power potential, and we do have so much potential that is not used. But if we can collaborate and help each other, I think we will all do better. And there is more than enough success in the world for everybody, actually.
Isn't that the truth?
Absolutely. And I'll add to everyone's comments a little bit. And we kind of touched on a few pieces of this, but I mentioned this when I was talking about myself for a moment, but building community. And I think that collaboration sets us up to really build a strong community. And when we have the ability to recognize our own strengths and weaknesses, it, I think, allows ourselves to really become more aware of what others are, and that those complementary pieces, and that really, I think, allows us to really truly build things. And I think there's such a tendency, especially growing up, and it was, there's only room for one at the top, and that type of mentality and attitude. And I disagree with that a lot. I think there's room for all of us. And I think that there's the ability to be much, much stronger together. And then the teaching of others, it helps us develop our own efficiencies, and it helps us to figure out kind of some things that we're doing really well, and even the things that we are doing well, we can always improve upon. I of course am going to lean heavily on the swimming side of things, but when I am teaching a higher caliber athlete, it allows me to really analyze what it is that I'm doing in the water and where I'm gaining a little bit of efficiency, and think about, okay, well, I'm I'm getting a lot of pull, a lot of propulsion in this particular area. And there's room for more though, because I see it in this particular athlete and that type of thing. And I think that translates into anything, not just swimming, but I think that translates into business. I think that translates into life, aging well, all of those things. I think when we can identify things that people are doing really well and being successful in, it allows us to learn something from, and then hopefully then teach someone else that same thing. And I think that full cycle piece is really an amazing thing, and very, very helpful in continuing to be all that we can be.
Excellent. So springboarding off of that, how important is it then to know yourself in order to be a good collaborator? For you to be the person that others want to collaborate with, and for you to be an effective collaborator, how important is it that you really know yourself and your strengths and your weaknesses that you bring to the table?
Do you want to start with that, Rosalie? I can start. So I think it's important that you know some about yourself, but I think you also learn a lot about yourself in the process. So I don't think you should wait until you know everything about yourself, because then you will never finish. You will never be ready to start.
Yes.
So yeah. So I think you will discover new things about yourself as you collaborate, as you participate, as you are building other people up. You will also see much of yourself in that process, I think.
Agree. Totally agree with that. Who else would like to add to that? Rosalie?
When do we stop learning? When do we?
Hopefully never, right?
Yes.
Right.
I mean, I truly, in the last couple of years, feel I've been through what could have been a university education. I didn't. I did my training in a nursing school, but what I've learned about the body, which is my thing, in the last couple of years, it's just blown my mind, because I didn't know. I wasn't taught this. I spent years going to nursing school, and I'm learning now at 63 things that I never knew. Over and above a bit of A&P, anatomy and physiology, it's extraordinary, and there's plenty of years for us to educate each other and pass it on. We don't need to do that much really to have a healthy body, if we just think it through. What we start with here and going from there. Yeah, what do we do with the hours in a day? I'm still finding there's much more of me that I've still to come to terms with, and again, in the last couple of years, people have supported me and helped me and really built me up, which has been superb. At 60 years of age, you think you should have about all that you need, but it's like a fresh start, and
it is, isn't it?
Life's a celebration when you really sit down and look at what we have in every day of our lives. It's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think just continuing to be open, and just I'll leave it at that.
Well, and I do think you need to know what are things that make you really uncomfortable, or where are you threatened, because sometimes you have to just walk through that door and be uncomfortable and you see what's on the other side, because it might be really nice and it might be full of opportunities. So I think being open-minded, I think, being not threatened by something different and continuing to learn, that gives us growth. And I hope every day I'm a more evolved person or a different person. And sometimes it could be a person that you talk to on the airplane that you will never see again, but they'll say a few things to you and you have a conversation with them, and you might never have chatted with them, and you walk away and you go, wow, that was kind of change or thought provoking, Yeah,
absolutely. I quote every now and then a story that came from a passenger sitting on a plane beside me, but it fit so perfectly into my business. that I tell his story frequently in group settings. So one of the things I'm hearing from all of you then is that collaboration helps us grow, right?
Yeah.
I think I heard that specifically from Arlette and from Rosalie. What are some of the things that you recognize as growth in your life due to collaboration?
Opportunities.
Okay. Elaborate on that if you would, Bonnie.
Absolutely. So I think that there's the tendency for a lot of folks that it's, well, if I don't do this all myself, then it's not going to be as something.
Right.
And there's the piece of doors not opening when you look at it as, okay, well, how can I achieve this thing, but I need to be able to pull on some other folks' wisdom, expertise, those kinds of things. I had the privilege of working in the open water space, and there aren't a lot of open water competitions in this area. And I wanted a place for my athletes to be able to compete somewhat locally and not have to drive 10, 15 hours away in
Right.
order to put their training to use. And I had to ask a lot of people a lot of questions in order for me to feel comfortable to put on my own event. I don't tell this to a lot of people, but I had never put on, or I had never actually swam in an open water race before I put on my first race. And yeah, that's not very typical.
That's courage. That's courage.
Yes, blind courage. But it took a lot of people. It took a lot of help in order for me to do that, and to do it safely, effectively, and to do it well. And I think that part of being open to asking questions and involving others helps you to be more successful and really accomplish the goals that you have set forth.
Wonderful.
And I guess what you said now is that also when you go out of your comfort zone, that's where you really grow. And I think that collaboration also, in many ways, it helps to be open-minded. And for me, I think all the collaboration has made me be more open-minded towards everybody, not prejudging anything or anybody, seeing that there is more to things and discoveries than I really knew, even if I'm also very old. But so I think we learn something new every day, and the collaboration is just a very nice way to see that other people can grow as well as I can grow with that. So I've learned so much from all of you, or even in this short period we've been on this show here. So yeah.
Awesome. Arlette?
Well, that's such a loaded question, right?
It's supposed to be.
I wouldn't be the human being I am today if it wasn't for, saying yes. And, you can always say no later. Just say yes and go with it. So if I had not done that, I would have not come to the United States to college, but I came not speaking a word of English. And I figured, I can read a time clock. I can swim in a pool. It's still 25 meters. Well, actually 25 yards here, but I had to learn that too. So that was okay. If I had not said yes to, going to physical therapy school and, applying to a bazillion schools and doing that, if I had not said yes to a course that was way over my head about 33 years ago, I would not have met my husband. I went and sat in the back of that class and was completely over my head at the time. And then I went and studied, and, pretty quickly I caught up. So there's a lot of times in my life where I've just said yes. And, very few times where I've turned around then and said no. Because as I stepped into that space, I met amazing people. I saw great opportunity. I learned a lot. I grew a lot, am growing because of that. So I think the key to that, though, is that you are, along with being open-minded, we spoke about that you're coachable. And
Definitely.
I think that's a really important piece, is that you're coachable and you want to learn,
Yes,
because a lot of people get really stuck. And, as soon as somebody makes a suggestion that is not exactly in their box, it's like, oh no, but. And I like to think, oh yeah, and.
exactly. Yes, and I love that.
Mm.
Excellent. Rosalie?
Excuse me, keep muting. It's just I was in a quiet corner and now it's got a bit noisy. Yeah, I agree with what everybody said. Really, I really enjoy taking people along the journey with me. I don't do many things by myself. In the pockets of time, I'm a busy mum of 3 grown-up daughters now that have 6 grandchildren for me to also spread myself around. And, they're the future. And I think we need to teach them too that
Yes.
to collaborate and work together. There's too much, especially in sort of the UK, in London. If I'm in London, I mean, I have these in for purposes today, but no one is talking anymore. They don't even collaborate in conversation sometimes. And so if we can bring more of that into the world and show this next generation that, there's a different way of doing some of the things that they're seeing now, and be that example. That's my duty. I feel I need to share with them, come this way, let's try it, and let's discuss this, let's go that way, let's help this person, and whomever they are and whatever their beginning part, where they come from and what their background is, come and let's just join hands and just show support for each other. Mankind, in a way, it's time. We had a few years of too much silence. We need to get talking again and get out there and mix in with each other, don't we? And be
Yeah, I also, sorry.
Yes, please, Sissel.
I also think that if people were more collaborating and more curious, I think maybe the world would be a little bit better place to be in, because we see so much fighting, so much competition, negative competition, not like in swimming or athletic fields, but in general, if people could see that they could benefit from each other and help each other grow and help each other with businesses or hobbies or whatever it is, I think we would all have a better place to be, honestly.
I agree. And going from that back to what Rosalie said, it's that example that we set, right? And that everything that we do has a generational impact, right? And so as we set that example for the next generation, and then they now experience that and set that for the next generation, then we can hopefully keep that going. Arlette, you have a thought on that?
I have a thought. Does it jump out of my head? Did you see it jump?
I saw it. It went,
it does do that. Bonnie and Sissel know that very well. And then they catch it.
The catching, it's the hard part.
The catching is the hard part.
Sometimes they come so fast, they're like bullets. But all joking aside, what I was going to say to that, the multi-generational level, I also think it's really important that we keep an open mind and we keep learning from younger people.
Yes.
And that you have people in your life to collaborate with from very young to old. Yes. And, I absolutely, it might take a little bit longer for me to sit with somebody who is 90 years old and listen to them. But I never walk away from a patient interaction or a client interaction with somebody who is in their 70s, 80s, or 90s and go, oh, wow, that was a waste of time. Right. It's extremely enlightening. And they have, we can go to Wikipedia and look at what happened in the times, when they were growing up. But to actually hear them and have their stories with it of what it was like to to go through, the 30s and to go through the 50s and to go through the women's movement. I just had a client last week, and she's 87 years old, and she's very sharp. And she took me to this place way back in the 50s and explained things to me. I had no idea. I had no idea my dish towels all red and embroidered in red. I did not know that, but I learned, and it was amazing. I mean, that's just an example. But
Sure.
likewise, I also love to collaborate with young people that, they know so much that I know so little about, and it's wonderful. I enjoy that.
Yeah. I love that. And it makes me think of, attitude relative to collaboration. That a lot of times in our current world, at any rate, I think people look at collaboration as, what am I going to get out of it?
Mm.
What should our attitude be as we go into a collaboration? And let me back up a little bit. Yes, we do want to get something out of it, but what I'm referencing here is that attitude of not so much the learning that we're getting out of it and the relationship, but what's the monetary value of this? What very a lot of times we enter it with a very much of a monetary mindset in a collaboration. What should be our attitude in a collaboration?
It has no expectations back. The gift of giving, if it's just a little help or support or, again, a little knowledge, expect nothing in return. But if your eyes are open with love, and everything is love that you're looking at, and whether you're thinking about someone's shape or someone's hair or someone's behavior, there's sometimes a story behind that. I often think about the times when you see a child on the supermarket floor, having a tizzy fit. There's a story there, and the mum's behavior is because she's part of that story, and who are we to judge? So I think we just have to be a lot more tolerant and just more understanding. But if you don't expect anything back and nothing comes that way, it doesn't matter. In here that you've given your all, and wake up and do everything with the right heart and mindset. You go to sleep at night in a good way, don't you? Head on the pillow, and they don't have to think too many things through because they're good recipes.
Yeah. Excellent.
And I don't think everything in this world is monetized, to be honest. We have a poem here in Norway, something about the biggest gift you can ever give somebody is the gift of giving. So if we can approach people with a soft heart and with the intention of helping others, I think that's a good place to start, and not necessarily have to monetize everything. I know that money is important. I mean, it's close to rank to oxygen, because you cannot live too long without it. But still, helping others is a gift in itself. So if we can try to approach people with that, I think that's a very good start. So yeah, that's my opinion.
I agree completely, Sissel. I agree. I think that's not necessarily the attitude a lot of folks have about it, especially maybe in the beginning. When they haven't really experienced an amazing collaboration, don't know what it's about. Bonnie, what are your thoughts on this?
I think coming to any kind of collaboration experience with an open mind and an open heart is very important. I think that sometimes it can be really challenging if you've had not so great experiences, and that's too bad. But I think it's when you encounter those types of things, it's really important to take a moment and see what you can learn from it, and what you may or may not could have done differently, or if it was all on the other party,
Right.
and not let that one or two or even three or four experiences that ended negatively impact your willingness to be open. I think that that's a really, really important thing. I've experienced personally several instances that have not gone very well and have resulted in not great things. And that's really, really hard. I know my husband, his attitude is to build up walls and to, it's that you've got to protect you and yours. And absolutely, that's very, very good thinking. But at the same time, he and I complement each other very well because I'm such an open book. I don't have any walls. I really don't even think I have windows. I am open air. And it has benefited me greatly because of that. But I've also learned a lot from those negative experiences, and that emotional piece that comes from that. And but I continue to strive to be open, maybe a little more guarded, a little more hesitant to jump completely in, but I'll definitely put that foot in first. And I think it just comes down to continuing to be open to those experiences and working together with others.
I agree. And I think one of the points that you brought out is so important, and that is that we analyze and learn from what went right, what went wrong in that collaboration. So I think that's really important. Arlette?
Well, I agree with all the points everybody made. I think they're really great points. Just have maybe one. I feel any human interaction is never a transaction. I think that every time you meet a human or you are part of, you touch them in some way or they touch you in some way, whether it's the baby on the supermarket floor or it's the person throwing up in the seat next to you in the airplane, or, it's all kind of, there's pleasant things and then there's not so pleasant things. And, you come at it with kindness, and, it's not a transaction to me. And if I meet somebody, I don't see dollar signs for sure, but sometimes you have a interaction with a person and it's just a really lovely interaction, and they might say, hey, you know what, I have this person, they're in that business, you might want to get to know them. So you never know, it might lead to something else. Yeah. The other thing is, in collaboration, I think, not having expectations, that's always a good thing in life. Expectations are never good, but sometimes you don't even know what you might build in a collaborative effort. Sometimes you just know you want to build something with that person. It's a little bit like a marriage. You might not know, you're getting married, but you might know how many children you're going to have, how many dogs you're going to have, if you're going to have a cat, if you're going to live in a house, where you're going to live, right? But you want to build something with that person. And I think when you collaborate with someone, whether it's in business or in fun, it is, you just know you want to be part of something with them. And if that is a bilateral feeling, then you're going to have some really great adventures.
Exactly. And I love who had something else there to say.
No, I guess that's what happened with Arlette and me. We met at the pool in Phuket, and it was just match clicked, and we started to collaborate and work together immediately. Honestly, we did, Arlette. Yeah, you agree?
Yeah. There are people that we meet that we fall in love with. Is the way I put it. You just fall in love with them instantly, and you want to do something with them. You want to be a part of their lives. Want them to be a part of your lives, and you just light up whenever you're around them, right?
Well, instead of transactions, we might call them transformations. So
I like that.
I like that. Yeah, but Bonnie and I, we were serendipitously matched up in the same hotel room somewhere, and we both were open-minded enough to do that we were fine with that, and here we are, in a collaborative effort. So it's just fun how that works.
That's awesome. One of the things that I love that you said, Arlette, and I think everybody pretty much expressed this, is not having expectations. Just going into it with an open mind, an open heart, and not having expectations in that collaboration. So.
Mm.
Ladies, we are at the end of our time for the discussion. This has been great. I love all of your inputs into it. But we're going to go into our wrap-up round now. And Sissel, I'm going to ask you to run that. If you would call on each person, please, to have them share their final thoughts on collaboration and their contact information. And while everyone's doing that, I'll put your contact information out into the public comments for everybody else to be able to see. Okay.
Yeah, I'll start with you then, Bonnie. Would you like to share a little bit?
Sure. So I think what's so interesting to me about what we've just been kind of talking about, I love what Arlette said in regards to it being an interaction and not a transaction. I think that spoke the most to me. And I feel like I come into any situation with a lot of that thought and feeling without articulating it in such a way. And I'm glad that that's what I'm walking away with from our conversation today. But I think really the bottom line of collaborating to me is building things, and it can be anything. For me, I'm very passionate about building community, and in whatever way that looks. Oftentimes it's around water, but it's a truly special thing when you can foster that environment to bring others together, not just yourself as part of it, but to foster the ability for others to come together around a common thing. So I think that's a lot of fun. So contact information for me, there's lots of things I have my hands in these days. I'm on Instagram and Facebook for the Tributary podcast, as well as Swim Oz, which is our master's team, as well as the Oz Mile Swim, which is our event that takes place in Northwest Arkansas at the end of September. And then and I'm wearing my shirt, and I didn't mention it earlier, but I also do the Joys of Swimming, and we specialize in water safety education, and I go into schools and conduct water safety education. So we're always looking for business partners to do that and collaborate with in that front. So thejoysofswimming.com is my website for that. And then also the ozmileswim.com for more information in regards to the swim. So, yeah.
Thank you. Thank you, Bonnie. What about you, Rosalie?
Okay, perfect timing. A lot of people just walk by with their suitcases. I encourage everyone I work with and my family, just keep giving and receiving smiles wherever you go, because that smile, often gets a bit of eye contact, and then there's a new conversation to be had, and who knows where that will lead. I can be found a little bit on social media. I'm not the biggest girl on social media by any means, so you can check me out at theredotstruth.com/Rosalie. You can see what my mission and my passion's really about, and I'll put my phone number out there for as well, because you can always take everybody's call, or you can choose what calls you're able to have the time to take. But I'm just open to help people. You just don't know who's waiting for you to come along, and I do believe that the universe creates these meetups that have been mentioned in this call. I went on a trip by myself and met the most fantastic young woman from Germany, and it grew another friendship in another country, and getting international has just been my thing for the last couple of years. I've never had an inroad to do that, but I think it's about being open like this and not being closed. And we talk about me too much, shut down just me. So we need to talk more about we and be more open to just make that first communication by giving and receiving a smile.
Can I interrupt for just a second? Rosalie, would you pop your contact information into the private chat for me? And then I'll put that out there in the public chat. The private chat's over on the right side. Thank you.
I just didn't press
there we go. Perfect.
I forgot
Thank you. Perfect.
Arlette, what about you? Do you have any last thoughts to share?
Yeah, I do. I look forward to many more collaborative opportunities, and mostly, of course, in the health and wellness field and helping people age up well. I'm looking at planning some events around this, where that are live events for people to learn to live healthy. And so I look forward to collaborating with people on that. I look forward to many more interactions, as I do have with clients and other professionals in the space of healthy cellular biology and how that fuels our cells, our healthy being, and how it keeps us moving and keeps us aging healthy without the burden of disease and other aches and pains. So that's my space. And you never know what's around the corner and who to have some fun with. So that's what I'm looking forward to. You can find me at ageupwell.com, www.ageupwell.com. That's my webpage. You can find me on Instagram at ageupwell. You can join me and a few friends there. And you can find me on Arlette at ageupwell.com. That's my email. And I'm on LinkedIn as well.
Awesome.
Okay, thank you.
And how about you, Sissel?
Yeah, I must say this has been really a delightful chat. And I will say that I never expect anybody to do something for me. I'm all about what can I do for you? And I'm all about opening minds and helping other people. And my ultimate aim is to help more individuals become members of our company's $1 Million Club, because that will be a clear reflection on thousands of lives that we have positively impacted. So that's my goal, that's my aim, and I love doing what I do, and I never expect anybody. First of all, I don't sell anything. I educate people, and if they like what I can share with them, I connect them with the company. So all my life, my 62-year-old life, I've been chasing natural solutions to help my body stay young, strong, and live for long. And I found it in 2015, and I will never ever return back from that. So that's my ultimate goal. And I really love the conversation we had here, because I think we all are stronger together. So you find me on I'm at Sissel at youngstart.no. I'm on WhatsApp, I'm on LinkedIn, I'm on Instagram, and I'm on Facebook. So I guess you will give all the links in the chat under here, or the caption
Yes,
under.
they're all posted now for everyone.
So thank you very much for having us all, Regina. I really, really appreciate it.
Oh, this has been so enjoyable. I've really appreciated getting to meet each of you and see the wonderful things that you're doing in the world. This has been delightful. Thank you so much. And now we'll thank our viewers for being with us today, and hope you enjoyed and learned some things about collaboration, and come back again and see us on Collaboration Conversations. Bye for now.
Bye.